also known as the Cowboy's wife. I'm no expert on anything and I don't claim to be, but I have been alive for 56 years, so I have some funny stories. Come saddle up with me and take a ride, and maybe I can make you laugh or smile or cry or give you something to just think about that day. Let's do this. Hey everybody, if you can't see me, you don't know that I am profusely sweating. My office is upstairs and the Cowboy has a fire going, and I mean, when this Cowboy starts a fire, it's a fire, and it is hotter than the gates of Hades up here in my office. Woo! Heat rises, baby. Today I want to talk about people needing people. And I remember growing up and my grandparents were always there for me for everything I ever needed. And I talk about my grandparents all the time, and I write about my grandparents all the time. And grandma even had a little money jar that she kept for us in her dining room. And I have the money jar now, and it's in my living room. There's no money in it. Sorry. But someday there will be. And you can bet your bottom dollar that Charleston and Autry and Sibby will know exactly where it is. And anytime I needed gas money or anything I needed, I knew that there was $20 in that little container. And so grandma would have given me anything I asked for, but you didn't love getting money out of the money jar while somebody's looking at you. So we would conveniently always take it when they weren't home, which is another issue we all need to work on, apparently. But my mom used to ask my grandma, she'd say, doesn't it bother you that people only come to you when they need something? And grandma's like, no, as long as they come. I mean, we didn't just need something, we needed her. I mean, she was the epitome of love and showed us, she fed us not only food, but she fed our souls. She's the reason that I know and craved Jesus. I mean, she just absolutely fed us and nurtured us spiritually as much as she did with her cooking every day and her chocolate chip cookies. And I found out a real bummer after she died. We thought she had these famous little cookies, and she'd make these tiny little chocolate chip cookies. I mean, like, they were itty bitty. You could just pop it in your mouth and have an entire cookie, and they were just to die for. When she died, we got her recipe book. She had literally copied the recipe off of Toll House chocolate chip package. It was the Toll House cookie recipe. It wasn't even anything that grandma did of special. It was just her special presentation, and she made them they look like tiny little walnuts, and they were just perfect every single time. And I promise you, anybody that ever ate at my grandma's house knows exactly what I'm talking about, because they ate those cookies. But most of us don't look for God in happy times anyway. We turn to God, and he does this on purpose when we need him. Sadly, tragedy is how God reaches millions of people. They don't know where else to go. Times of war, those poor men and women that are fighting and so alone. I mean, they don't have anybody else. And I think that's a lot of times on purpose. God wants us to come, looking for him. And so I love that about him, and how that he gives us, we're never alone, but he also gives us people, like my grandma, and he puts people in your lives for special occasions. And the other night we had our office Christmas party, and before we have dinner, I will say the prayer. But let me go back a little bit. I was getting ready, and I had on this long dress, and it had a kind of a flare at the bottom. It was a long skirt with the top. I even had my nails painted this teal blue to match this dress, because I've been planning this forever. I bought this dress when Quincy and I went to Texas. I was pumped about it. The Cowboy walks in and says, "Nice fish pants." I'm like, what? First of all, it's a skirt, and he says it was a compliment, like a mermaid. Well, mermaids were beautiful, and I would have been a little giddy if he called me a mermaid, but no, he said nice fish pants. So there we were. And I also attempted to wear Spanx. I haven't worn Spanx in a red hot minute, because luckily I haven't had to, but this dress was so thin and so tight that I thought, it wasn't that tight, but I just didn't need some nasty, hail damage showing in my my fish pants. And so I poured my body into Spanx. I know now why they call them Spanx, because they're punishment. It is like giving yourself a spanking. It's the most awful, trying to pour your body into those awful small little pants. I mean, it's just mean. And Spanx is a great word because it's punishment for yourself. But anyway, I am always the one that that says the prayer before dinner at our office get-togethers and parties and things and meetings and whatever, and family events, anything that we're going to eat and we have a prayer, I'm the one that says it. And so I had been trying to kind of think about what I wanted to say. And at the office parties, I also always usually give a little, talk and thank everyone, because they're rock stars and we couldn't do what we do without them. And the Cowboys there constantly, to the point that the other day my granddaughter mentioned that he lives there. And so I did not hesitate to point that out to him. But these people know, because they work with him every single day, and they know that he's there all the time. If he's not there, he's working somewhere that has to do with there, and they all just give it 110%. And it's just a really, really cool thing. And so I was thanking them, and I've been praying about somehow I could be involved, because I don't know everybody there. I mean, I bet I didn't know half the people. People come and go, and it's grown exponentially. And so we have a lot of new people working at the agency. And so I've talked to Quincy about how I could get involved. And, a while back I cooked and tried to meet people there. And then I just had on my mind, maybe I would offer a Bible study. And I said, I don't know how that will play out. The Cowboys not thrilled about everybody taking an hour for lunch. And I prayed about it. And so I never just got in the car and thought, man, I'm doing this. When I get over there, I'm going to lay it out, and I got to talking when I had the microphone in my hand, and I just offered this Bible study, which, and Kevin was fine with it. He was not offended at all. He was thrilled about the idea. Quincy's like, oh, we're doing it. I didn't know we were doing it. And she's kind of, the person that I should have cleared it with. But I'm telling you, it wasn't really my idea. I think this was a complete God thing. So I said, I will be, if anyone's interested, I will be happy to lead a Bible study during the lunch hour, every other week or whatever, is feasible for everybody's schedule and doesn't interfere with work and all the things. And so I said, if you're interested, just mention it to Quincy this week and we'll see if it has any interest. Great. If it doesn't, great. I'm not going to force anybody to do it. And after the party, after the dinner, I had 5 people come up to me and just, oh my gosh, just the most beautiful conversations, and had me a puddle. I was just a big puddle by the time this thing was over, with all of their beautiful words that they said to me and the things that they said about him, and how that our company has, just been such a blessing in their lives. Gosh, it was just very overwhelming. And I still, again, I hadn't heard from Quincy or anything. Well, the weirdest part about it is the next day, my Facebook page, my blog page, where I write and do my Cowboys wife stuff, I got this notification that I had 1,000 new followers. And I'm going, what? What for what? I haven't done anything extravagant. I haven't posted a colt being born or said something super funny. I did post this video of my brother laughing, which is the funniest thing ever, because he reminds me so much of my dad, and he is just dying laughing in this video. It's just a little video. And that's another thing. I always love it when everybody has to give their opinion, which is fine. Your opinions are fine. But we consider white elephant gifts to be something that you have, that you already own, that you don't want. Everybody plays the game differently. We've done Dirty Santa, and trust me when I say you don't want to play Dirty Santa with my family, because it gets dirty. I mean, they are nasty. I've got a skeleton in my bar right now that I'm terrified that my grandchildren are going to open that someday and see this. Oh, it's just awful. My brother thinks it, and I can see him laughing so hard just thinking about it as I mention it, because it was funny, and he hid it in my house. Even though we did not have the dirty Santa, he still had to be a little bit dirty. And so it's super funny. But anyway, we just decided this year not to spend any money and give something you have. Well, my brother brought a pumpkin that was still on his front porch. And it was funny because he's laughing just hysterically. And I just thought his laughter was funny. That thing has had 1 million views today. As of today, 1 million people have watched Tug laughing till he cries. And that is hilarious. I mean, that's hilarious. It's crazy, but it's funny. And so today I get up, that page has 5,000 new followers. I left for the party with 27,000 followers, which I realize is not a ton. Today I have 32,000 followers. And you know why? It's because I did something God asked me to do. I'm totally giving credit to him because I think it was his idea to lead that Bible study. I mean, didn't have any real expectations about it except that I wanted to meet the people that work with my husband and spend the time with my husband every day and my daughter and my son-in-law. And I just wanted to get to know everybody better. And if I can, lead someone to Christ in the process, that would be fabulous. I mean, that's my goal every single day, is to hope that people can see that even broken, really checkered past people like myself can change. Thank God I had my grandma on her knees in her bathroom every day praying for me, because prayer works. I had another cool thing happen this week. Speaking of prayer working, is that I kind of hit on last week that my book is done, and I got a message from my editor, and she said I followed all of the things that they wanted me to do to edit it, and she was turning it over to the last grammatical person, to finish the copy edit, and my part's done, and I'm just beside myself with excitement. But the other thing that happened, God cares about all the things that you care about. And a lot of people believe that we shouldn't ask him about silly things, or animals or things like that. Well, we had, it was time to cut our colts this year, our 2-year-olds, and we had 4 boys. And I hate that, because unless you are raising, a super stud, literally, you got to cut them, because they're mean, and they get mean, and they get scary and violent, and you don't want them breeding their sisters and things like that. I mean, things can happen, and they're hard to haul and hard to maneuver. And we have a lot of mares on this farm. And so we cut them. And in all of our years, we've only lost one. And Kevin was helping the vet that day, and it was Doc Haskins, and it was hilarious. It wasn't funny. It was terrible, but he was teaching Kevin how to do it. And the one that Doc did bled out and died, and the ones that Kevin did didn't. And it was nuts, but no pun intended, but it was nuts. But anyway, no more nuts. So this last week, we had that happen again. Our vet was here, ironically, one of Doc's proteges. And the first one he cut he was standing there perfectly fine, doing great. And then they go to lead him back. And I mean, we had a gusher, and there was just blood everywhere. And it was terrifying, because this is a really nice colt out of a really good bloodline. And so I called another vet. I talked to Kevin, and nobody was concerned about it. I mean, my vet was concerned about it. He wanted me to call and get a second opinion and take him to surgery if we needed to. I mean, he cut him back open, tried to clamp off everything that he could, and he got it stopped. And he said, honestly, if he makes it through the night, let's just see if he makes it through the night. Well, I said, he's going to be fine, because I'm going to pray about it. He's going to be fine. Well, even his little boy prayed about it. He said, his little boy that night said, please, God, let that horse be okay that Daddy worked on today. And God cares about stuff like that. And I will tell you right now that Cody is fine. He was swelled up the size of my head. It was impressive, but we have followed the doctor's orders, and he's doing great. But we got to give that stuff to God. I mean, you got to pray about all the things that he wants you to petition him. We're supposed to come with him with prayer and petition and thanksgiving. And so, when you pray, thank God first for all the many blessings that we have, because we do have so many blessings. And then, we need to come and petition with ferociousness and knowing that he is going to do this, because, be confident, come to the throne with confidence. And I just think that's so cool because we have such an amazing God that allows us to do that, and he wants to be in communication with you. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. Have a great week, and I am in sunny Mexico. Please pray for me and my family that we get back safely and that we don't have any weird, things happen while we're gone, because that kind of terrifies me. But I am coming to the Lord with no fear and all the thanks. And so I will be back to talk to you again in a week. Have a great one. See you guys.